So here we are. We're doing a off schedule On Your Left podcast, and I feel like this was needed. I was going to do an Instagram post and just list of like, the operations guy in me got a hold of me a little bit and was like, you know what, we need to do a lessons learned. At the end of every project you do, you want to kind of reflect and what did we learn? What can we improve on? And guys, this is new. We're throwing out takes. I don't think there's many people like us in the sport other than Jack Kelly that's really being kind of quote unquote brutally honest about the sport. And I will say this, we did nail a few things and we got some things completely wrong. So I said, let's have an emergency broadcast.
Blake,
I didn't.
Blake, get out of here. We got to be brutally honest with ourselves here, too, because we sucked on a couple picks. I sucked on a couple picks.
You guys sucked.
Listen,
Blake, I think I've got a couple Blake swung and missed on.
How about that? Let's go Eagle Man first.
I think let's look past Eagle Man. Let's look past it. It was 2 weeks ago. I don't even want to talk about Eagle Man.
We could just a quick thing on how Evan called and missed the Lucy loss.
That was not that far off. Chelsea was.
She was there.
She was there.
We said Grace was going to get out of the water with her, and she was back by 2.5 minutes.
That's true. Still, Lucy can swim. We know that. Grace can swim too. It's just that's how fast Lucy is.
100%. I threw Trevor under the bus. I said, "There's no way he's going to perform at this race." What else?
Blake did too. Blake also said that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I'll take
Blake
the hit
was
on
wrong
that
there.
Yeah, you nailed Callan. Whatever. Actually, Evan, you really nailed Callan first off the bike for sure. Yep. Not the fastest bike split, but first off the bike.
No, we were way off the bike time.
Yeah,
I think
we were throwing around 154s.
Yeah, and I think too that to go 150 low is going to take a super good wind conditions day, like just crazy good wind.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest misstep, and listen, I don't want anybody ever to call us North American or American apologist or favorites or anything because we blew it in cans. And I'll correct myself for this episode. We really blew it in cans.
Yes. That was by far our worst, right? Can we just agree? That has to be our worst.
Because we poo-pooed Nick and Thompson and we threw...
No, I did not. Though. I did not. First off, I was the one who wanted Nick in that top tier, so I deserve some credit there because I believe even the great big Mets looked at me and was like, "That's it. Come on, have some respect for other guys." Nick's stock was on the up and up, and I want that real pulled, Bolly. I want that video evidence found. But yeah, I think so. Our biggest misses in Karens in raising Canes and raising Karens.
Americans is crazy.
I don't know how we and also like Matt Hansen goes on runs 230.
I know it was
30.
Yeah.
Is that the second
230?
Is that the
230?
That is now behind Messias in Brazil, the second fastest ever Ironman run, right?
Really? Is that?
I think we've seen a sub 230 before. I want to say it was like 228 or 9 previously.
I thought 231
it's a top 5
was
regardless.
I'm gonna. Blake, do you want to stats that for us? Can you? I don't know if that's actually going to be a Googleable stat, but.
Okay, one thing I will say, and Metz isn't here to defend himself, but somebody, I'm not going to say who, but somebody who's eventually going to come on to the episode said it's very ironic. Big Metz said that that Jackie wasn't going to do well traveling halfway across the world when he podiumed after traveling halfway across the world.
Yeah, he just did it. And he also, like, his shifting wasn't even working. He had, like, the highest stress situation and still podiumed in China. So,
to be fair, it is Ironman, but, I mean, honestly, like...
We're never going to doubt an American going abroad again. I don't care how stressed it is. Yeah,
I talked to Jackie, and she said that she was actually kind of upset. Like, that fueled her, and I said it was a psyop.
Awesome.
We knew you were going to actually win.
You're welcome, Jackie.
The fire.
Yeah, so, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good though. Like, I don't think these athletes, when they hear us, have some takes, I don't think they take it personal. So I think we're striking.
Evan was correct on his. That was the second fastest.
Yeah,
this is updated, but it's Messias at 226.50. Kalanga 230.27.
Let's go, Matt
Hansen. So by 6 seconds, that would have been, and who knows how short that Brazil course was, but
apparently it was a full marathon. That is what they're saying. They said that was a full, which is just, I mean, I don't even know how to explain a 226. He's obviously a great runner. A tailwind the entire, I have no idea what happened there. But anyway, I mean, kudos to Matt Hansen.
Kudos
to
Jackie.
Out there.
Kudos to Jackie.
So Jackie is our second biggest swing and miss, because our biggest swing and miss far and away was Marquardt.
But if you think about it, we never doubted their athletic abilities. We were doubting their logistical choices and their financial motivations. Yeah.
Well, but the thing was, what Jackie said, she said, yeah, I do this for money. It's my job. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, if you're doing it for money, you're going to try to do anything to win and try to make that money. That's the other thing. That's the other caveat.
We've done a lot of stuff for money, man. Like, money's a pretty good motivator.
And we know people have done some stuff for money, but who else was a surprise at Cairns? I mean, the women's we kind of nailed, other than Jackie. We even had Jackie at the second tier. And it was kind of like,
I think we stuck the nail on the head with Jamie too, like a fourth place. I think he's still
Braden Curry. Just that's that
was either.
Just swing or miss, like we talked about. Yeah, Braden's either going to win the day or he's going to have a bad day. It's no in between for this guy, and that's. I mean, Jamie, I think too. Metz is the one who actually nailed Jamie, where I think he even said, "quote unquote," he's like, he's not going to win, but he's a pretty surefire for like third or fourth. And he was right. I mean, Jamie gambled, went hard on the bike, and then blew up the last 20K of that bike, like absolutely blew up, and then somehow rallied and had a pretty good marathon until the end.
2:44 final time. I don't know what his splits were.
And he was moving to the last 10K.
A 2:44 with a blow up. That's not too bad.
That's I would take a 2:44 blow up. That'd be a great day.
2:44 blow up.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what we said about Nick too. We said he's not going to win, but he's going to podium. I
said he was going to win.
We said. Well,
actually, I said Jamie was going to win, and then he was going to be second. So I knew that wasn't going to happen once Jamie blew up on the bike, but. Yeah. But here's I mean, anybody watching this probably knows the Marquardt, what happened now, but we were right to an extent and then completely underestimated how insanely tough this guy is.
Yeah.
Like, he hopped out of the water, still has this cramps issue. And this one had to be his worst. He was like brought to a walk and was in transition for like
he
5 minutes.
T1.
Yeah, he's like
stretching.
That video
was hysterical of him just like pounding he's just shots.
He's just like, I just need to take in something to get this cramp. Like,
I feel like $1 million.
I love if you see the volunteer in the aid station too. She just doesn't know it. She's like beside herself. She's like, do you need no?
She's like, pros never take the nutrition and swim aid station.
Like, sir, there's a race going on. Like, what are you doing right now? He's like, I'm done.
It's a formality. Yeah.
I can't even imagine that
nutrition at the first aid station on the bike. You just don't.
Exactly. You're like, how are you in that bad of a place right now? But this is how insanely tough this kid is. Like, I mean, he hops on the bike, and if I just had cramps for that long, I'd be like, we're mailing this in today. Like, this is gonna be, we're gonna talk to age groupers. We're like saying hi to Jackie as she comes by to win this thing. Like, and he just locks in and ends up having. Fastest bike, second fastest bike.
I don't know. You fly halfway around the world with your mom. You got to show up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was probably his head. He's like, dude, mom came all the way out for this one. I can't just like bag this DNF, and then he goes on and wins the race after that.
Dude, I think that's what we're seeing with this younger generation too. The body just responds so much better at that age.
They're tough.
Like, you can do stuff like that.
They can. Absolutely.
The demographic too itself, like what you said, like these guys get amped up to race. They're not like old curmudgeons. Like,
no, dude, there's
man, something went wrong.
Like, time to bag it. I just didn't feel right on the day. Like these 23, 24-year-olds. I mean, Blake, they will bury themselves in a race.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, absolutely bury themselves. And it is like, it's funny because I think that we talked, I mean, me and Bolly are both older millennials now. So like we talk down these the younger kids in this sport are crazy tough. They're talented. They're tough. They're not this stereotypical Gen Z crew coming in who needs like the red carpet pulled out for them or anything, dude. I've seen some tough kids in this age range that make me feel, I have to think back. I was like, was I that tough? I was like, I don't think I was that tough at that point. I'm pretty sure if I had double calf cramps in transition, I don't think I'm going on and winning a race after that.
No. And like we were doing it on like low carb, it was like this bizarre, like,
we were all fasted.
We were like,
do that.
It was wild. So Cairns out of the way. I think we got some things right, some things wrong. Moving on to Boulder now. Let's talk about the surprises and the people we missed. I mean, honestly, I know Weaver his caliber. I just didn't think he would show up to this race after the car crash, 8 weeks ago.
He was back to 4 or 5 weeks of I wonder if he even surprised himself a little bit. And he's a confident guy, and he is a great endurance. Like, people forget he's maybe in the top 5 conversation in the whole sport for runners, just raw runners. It's maybe Hayden, Alex Yee, Ari Clow, Connor Weaver. There's probably somebody else who, Milner from Britain. There's maybe some short gore. Yeah, Morgan Pearson. Duh, thank you. And Morgan definitely in the top 3 there. But I mean, he's at least in that top 8 conversation of just raw runners. So that run's not surprising. Like, Duke can run the house down. That bike was surprising to me, coming off of only 4 or 5 weeks of training, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially the injury. I think Kevin McDowell didn't surprise us. We just didn't hold his stock. Nobody really had him in I didn't have him in my top 3. Who I think somebody in the group chat did you?
I was the one that picked them all. I think somebody else had McDowell.
Yeah. He was, he showed up. I mean, he was getting, I think I threw in the group chat, I was like, he's getting throttled on this bike because he was getting spit out towards the second back half, and he came off the bike and ran so fucking strong.
Boulder's a runner's race, man. That is because that run is so hard, and at altitude, if you're a guy who overbikes,
altitude gravel,
you're in trouble.
Sucks too.
Yeah, you're in trouble. And then guys like the Connor Weavers of the world, the Kevin McDowells, the Ben Randalls, John Cal's going to run you down. I mean, they're going to run you down.
I meant on the bike.
It's true.
John Callan did a 158. We underestimated him. I mean, Greg.
Massive underestimation. Yeah. So massive underestimation. I also got I love that. That was he knew that we underestimated him too, which was great. I know another guy who might have gone in a little bit motivated from that one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's part of it, right?
He's announcing himself too, man. Like, he's at this isn't just like flash in the pan. He's at a couple good races, and my God, if he's swimming 27, 28 minutes now, he's going to start factoring into podiums here soon.
He came out of the water, I think, in like 28th, if I'm not mistaken, and then moved up to 11th or 7th.
That's his best swim, dude.
Yeah.
He's had that was a great swim.
Yeah.
Callan.
Killing 7. With a 28.55. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out of the water in like 28th or something. And then Ben Randall, obviously, he came out in 11th. I want to say, out of the water and moved up to 11th. And then you had
Don't sleep on Ben
20th,
Randall.
And then moved up to 6th. So
3 dudes ran the absolute house down.
Another thing we got completely wrong, and this is me, because I threw in the misinformation into the group chat. Because it was one gender to raise, you're supposed to double the prize money, and then that's how you figure out how much is paid deep.
Yeah.
So it was actually paid 7 or 8 deep. It was something like that, but it was not 5. I got that completely wrong. So hand up, man up. We're gonna learn this weekend at Frankfurt, 87,500. So that will pay. I think it's like 10 deep or something like that.
That's a good payout. Thank God, because Frankfurt, that field, not going to stacked field.
Yeah, absolutely stacked.
I could not imagine getting 11th and not getting paid at that race.
So, anyways, Boulder. Any other movers? Any other things that we might have gotten wrong? Colin Zutch. Shut me up. Shut up.
Didn't shut me up.
Thinking he wasn't gonna,
Didn't shut me up. Blake knew that was coming too, right? Blake, you said.
I knew.
Yeah,
I
just thought he was on social media a lot.
These young guys, young guns,
dude.
This is like a Cam Worth, dude. He's just always going around, hitting everything he can.
Colin's going to have a world. I think Colin's going to have a world-class bike ability here within the next 2 years. Like, he's going to be a guy you start talking about, like a Robert Callan, where it's like, oh, this guy can just bike straight through the field.
Already he's getting 152.43.
Yeah, he's getting better and better every single year. And Colin's he's like that big, strong dude. Like, if you're just a long lever, strong dude,
like a Callan.
Dude, he does. They're built exactly the same. Yeah.
He's a big guy.
And then just like Sam Long, those guys eventually figure out how to run really fast too. And then they're just winning races and dangerous. So, yeah.
All right, moving on. Happy Valley. I think
so many swings and misses. Did we? Well, we missed some mid packers for sure, like moving up the field people.
Well, I think Blake, I think you even said, and I can go and clip it. I think you said this girl was going to win. I think you said she has the ability to win.
I don't think I said Lydia was going to win. Okay. I said I don't want to. I'm not doing Stolen Valor here. I didn't think Lydia would win. Like, I knew she's good enough for probably a top 5, maybe a podium, but a win's like insane. Outrunning Sidaro.
You said something where
beating Sidaro is
crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
I definitely I mentioned her name. Yeah.
I think we really swung and missed on Sidaro too. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because
you just don't know with her. Like,
Yeah,
we
I mean,
had
like,
her ranked pretty high. I think we were, the only thing that we said was like she might not come in here like fresh. And Steve commented on the Instagram post and was like, some interesting opinions there, and I'm like, I don't think it's that
Fair
wrong
opinion.
to say.
Yeah.
Like, anybody that races back-to-back weekends, the only thing to say about the person, if the only thing to say about the person is they might not be fresh, I think they're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And she, I mean, back-to-back seconds is pretty impressive. That's, I mean, especially because she even said, she's like, I've never done, I did watch one of her videos. She was talking about that. She's like, I've never done this before, like back-to-back races.
Really?
Yeah. So she even herself was like, let's see how this goes.
All the time, you have to put a question mark there.
Yeah.
Two halves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 halves is no joke.
Which is, this is the most resilient we've seen her, definitely. Just like physically, injury-wise, and like getting through racing right now. She's looking like, man, I would love to see another good result out of Chelsea here coming through championship season.
It's a Kona year, so my guess is she's going to shut it down for a little bit.
She's ramping up
to build up. All right, so the next one we got Cairns, Carnes, Boulder, Happy Valley. There was a T100 race last weekend, right? There was Vancouver.
Yeah.
Listen,
San Francisco before
no
that.
Surprise the Belgians win. I know we don't talk about it, but like it doesn't do it for me in terms of a triathlon fan. It just doesn't. I like to watch.
It doesn't do it.
It just doesn't do it. Like, no.
Ball is an Ironman purist, man. This is
exactly. It just doesn't.
I'm
such a hater.
Belgium's a classic country.
I absolutely love watching it. It's absolutely awesome. It's just, I think the tough thing is like, outside the front of the race, it's really hard to get excited about what's going on in the middle of the race. So it's basically going to be the same 6 dudes right now racing each other over and over and over again, which I'm fine because I love watching them. But the difference is getting to cover an Ironman race is fun because we get to talk about 20 or 30 guys and gals.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's
what are you going to argue?
It's 20 people racing.
But I feel like the athletes themselves, like, you don't know who's going to show up to want to race. Like, a lot of them
that's
just like pull up, they like pack it in. They know there's a payday. They know there's going to be another chance, especially when you do back-to-back weekends. It's like, all right, it's not my day. Like, might as well save it for next week.
And that's why there's really only
BC for 2 weeks.
There's really only maybe 6 to 10 of them right now that, in my opinion, are fully honed in on T100, and they're racing it mind-blowingly well. Obviously, I mean, the bike in these races, like seeing how hard Rico Bogan is biking right now, is terrifying for anybody wanting to race him in 73 Worlds. And the fact that Yeli Geens, Yeli's always been a good biker, but now all of a sudden Yeli, with how small he is, can hop on a TT bike and just ride with anybody is kind of terrifying. Like, you're like, this guy is already a great swimmer. He's a short course swimmer and maybe the best runner under fatigue in the game. And now the guy can bike. You're like, all right, it's kind of like, how do you beat him?
It's kind of like what we saw towards the end of the season last year. It's like the Belgians rose to the top, and then it was like always like 1 or 2 guys are going to challenge them. And Kyle Smith was the guy last year.
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah,
Rico, kind of just like, that's what I feel this year. It's like, we know the Belgians are going to take 2 out of the 3 podiums at this point. So it's like, who's going to stick around? It's been like Micah Newt, Bogan, and that's where it just
Micah Newt's fun to watch. I like Micah, but also
he's like a Fonz on fucking Ozempic.
Dude, I know it's good.
He's like Johnny Bravo on Ozempic.
It's Johnny Bravo. What's the age range that you have to even understand that reference? You gotta be 30 to even have ever watched Johnny Bravo. Late night Cartoon Network.
No, who am I thinking of? Fabio, right? I said the Fonz. I meant Fabio on Ozempic. Anyways,
Fabio. Yeah. Okay.
I like Johnny Bravo better. We're going Johnny Bravo.
But I mean, the funniest thing to come out of T100 is me knowing that there's a race going on, and I just open my inbox and I just get just like people almost crashing out after people almost crashing out.
And then I mean, we got it's at least it's at least good for like the women's field too. That I liked it, but like it's good to see Taylor can be beaten. Thank God, because like
the women's, did Taylor win?
Taylor to win in Vancouver.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Taylor won in Vancouver, and then in San Francisco, Julie Darren won.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it's good to see Taylor then come back and win, but it's good to see if she can be beaten, because otherwise, the T100 women's field was in danger of becoming a really not exciting race if it was just going to be Taylor just clipping off wins. It's just not even hard.
Well,
so the fact that Kay Woe, Ashley Gentle, Julie Darren, I mean, Ashley still needs to. Yeah, Yeah, and we'll see who else can rise up, but really I think it's just Julie, K-Woe, and Taylor right now. But we'll see if there's somebody else who can hop in there and start making an impact. Learmonth is also able to bike with Taylor, which is huge. That's just wild.
It just doesn't do it for me, man. I don't.
I know. Whatever. I don't even message Bali about T100 stuff. Only Ironman, and we'll like go deep on an Ironman race, but Bali just does not care about T100.
Yeah, Ironman's just winning right now. Yeah,
they're dominating, and everyone was like, "Oh, T100 this, T100 that." No. Send me the follies. I'll repost that. They should actually T100 should just send me all of their follies just for me to post. That'd be the best marketing for them. All right, T1. When's the next race? When's the race to Qatar that no one could fly into?
What's the next race that is going to have 0 fans at? But Bali, I know you're a big Morgan Pearson fan too. I mean, you and I both have T-shirts of this man's face. If he wins one, would you all of a sudden be like, let's get behind this?
So 100%. I'll be the biggest T100 fan you've ever met,
dude. I'm a Bengals football fan. I could care less about the NFL playoffs until all of a sudden we start going to playoffs, and I'm like, this is the best time of year. This is awesome.
Until you draft Joe Burrow, and
then I care, and then all of a sudden I care again.
100%. No, if Morgan or if anybody, I mean anyone from North America,
Jay West.
You get Jason West in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean I'm going full board. Mark Dubrick, I'm rooting for the boys all day. I'm a rider.
If Sam Long ever wins a T100 race, that'll be like the greatest American moment in triathlon ever. Because he'd have to bike the house down.
You never know.
You want to talk about a business?
Greg Harper
decision?
making him a weapon.
Yeah. Sam made a business decision. Was like, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to go to T100. Good for Sam for getting one in, knocking 2 races off the calendar
also,
for T100.
What a brave dude with his swim ability too, man. Because that I hate the criticism of his swim. It's like I don't think people understand how high that swim ability is in T100. And you're like, to be Sam and to go there and know you are coming down 4 minutes out every time. And is just so
that'd
brave.
Be a good one too.
That's fun though, man. Knowing that you could bike just as good as
bike
the rest
the house
of them.
down. Yeah, it takes 8 of them to bike the same speed as you do chasing them.
All right, so moving on, T100 Vancouver. That was talking T100. Lionel's injury kind of broke Google Analytics for Red S.
I'm so glad we're actually going to bring this up.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is your wheelhouse, Evan. So I woke up to a million messages about ED memes and Lionel and people sending me clips, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. So
was that the most messages you've gotten in triathlon related from
this year?
This year.
Just like, you gotta mean this, you gotta mean this. And part of me is like, I don't know, man. Like, part of what makes Lionel is being vulnerable, and to like throw that back in his face seems kind of cheesy and seems kind of low, because I did end up watching it and I was like, it's hard to make fun of this because everybody on this call has experienced some form of this one way or the other.
Yeah.
But we've never really.
I have. Definitely.
I'm more of like be a man and say that you have an eating.
Not that eating disorder stuff. Like when I'm much younger. Yeah. Not Red by any means, but
no, guys.
We've all been there. Bali's been there. I know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Straight up, I've had a low sex drive at one point, like in the peak of training, and you definitely notice it. But you recognize it for what it is, and you're like, oh, I'm underfueled, I'm under rested, like I'm overtraining. But I did I feel like it's common knowledge. Like I feel like it was a little dramatized. I don't know.
Well, it's always wasn't that Sam Long's thing? Like, I know I'm training enough when I don't have a sex drive or whatever.
He's mentioned that before. Yeah. I mean,
he's definitely talked about it.
I think it's decently well known. I mean, I was more surprised that he was, and I agree that I think it was a little bit more dramatized. I think I was surprised that he was shocked by those symptoms where he's like, oh, I've been under fueling and all this. I'm like, this seems not that hard to calculate out. And I mean, also, the guy was lean as heck this last year. If anybody'd seen him in person, dude.
Yeah.
You might have been the person to say that. You're like, Lionel is very lean this year. Mm-hmm. And I saw him at St. George, and I don't think I've ever seen him this lean.
I think he just walked the line, man. And that's, I mean, it's something I think in the men's field we just don't talk about as openly as the women's field. But we know when there's guys walking the line. Like, we're all, I remember years ago, I used to always make the joke before Kona. You're like, man, you look like Jan Kona fit. And we all know exactly what I'm talking about.
2008 Jan, 2007 Jan or whatever.
Just the hot
cage. He's got the bird cage.
He won. He walks in. You're like, this guy won. Oh my God, he's tan too.
100%.
How is he tan? How is he even tan under that stress?
His tan lines have tan lines. It's crazy.
But it does. But I mean, and I know he's never openly talked about anything, so I'm not going to put words in his mouth at all. But we all know that line, and we all look at, I mean, is it not good for the young parts of the sport when we're talking about that like it's positive? Yeah, I do agree with that, because I think I was really happy when the Norwegians came around and that ideology started to shift, because all of a sudden we got the guy running the house down. Looks like he could line up at fullback for the Jets next week. Like, I mean, we all know Christian Blumenfeld's not actually a big human. Like, I mean, in the grand scheme, he's a pretty small guy. He's a small guy.
Small.
Yeah. But the dude is not built like Jan. Like he is a different animal. And then you see big guys coming through like a Rico Bogan. I even think a Kyle Smith is built strong. Like just they're different builds. And
Fred Funk,
yeah. Dude, I love Fred. And it was good
more
for men to
Marquardt.
Dude, Lord Marquardt's calves are just built of. He has 2 cannons attached to his legs, dude.
So somebody sent me a comment that McCall had on Lionel's thing and was like, "Yeah, there's days where Gustav needs to eat 8,000 calories because otherwise you're just going to be deficient, and a lot of those calories come in junk form." And it always brings me back to that Ari video where he's in Australia with the fueling guy, and they're looking at the macros and they're doing it, and like by day 3 the guy just like basically admits like, yeah, Ari's eating KFC because he can't just eat chicken and rice. Like,
why not?
You need exactly.
This is how you can tell if somebody has any clue what they're talking about in elite endurance sports, is if they would criticize somebody's diet, in my opinion, what they're actually eating. That is where I zone out on them. And I'm like, you don't have any clue what these guys and gals are doing if you're sitting there worried about seed oil intake. I'm like, if you're sitting there worried about food dyes and seed oil, you're missing the mark, man. I'll eat food dyes all day if it means I can get 3,000 extra calories in and not be underfueled. For sure.
100%. So the first day Matt comes here to St. George, he shows up with the 2-liter, and I start laughing because it's a Norwegian thing, bro. And
shove down the sugar.
I guess it is.
Dude, every Friday I get a Domino's pizza, a thing of garlic knots, and an entire 2-liter of Sprite. And I've been doing that since I was like 19, 20 years old. And I'm never going to apologize for that.
Oh my God.
I eat well otherwise, man, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, okay, I train 7. There you go. I train 7 hours typically on a Saturday when I'm like in an Ironman block. What am I going to do? Like eat like a salad that's going to equate to 7,000 calories? Absolutely not. Yeah.
Anyways, I do think there was some kind of humility or embarrassment from Lionel with like, fuck, I'm injured, because every elite athlete, when they get injured, they feel it's on them. So I do think it was a little dramatized to justify the injury a little bit, just because this is a common thing. If you're an elite athlete, that fine line, how unhealthy the sport is at the front end. So I do think Lionel did kind of milk it a little bit with, the diagnosis, the story.
You got to remember his crowd too. That's the thing. Yeah. If he was just talking to us, he'd be talking about it differently, and we'd all be in agreement. We'd be like, man, you were fit as heck for Oceanside and St. George. And you just walked that line a little too close.
Pushed it too much.
Yeah. And then we'd all move on, and probably he'd have a talk with somebody and be like, dude, you need to start eating more. And then he would. But I get it from the video point of view, needs to be this like, I'm learning a lesson thing. You're like, because that's kind of Lionel's storyline and his character arc, is that throughout this entire experience of Lionel YouTube, which has eclipsed the sport. I mean, more people know about Lionel YouTube than know about triathlon, without a doubt. That's been his thing, is he's this guy who makes the mistakes and learns. So I get that they need to keep that storyline going.
All right. Now, last topic here. We're running on 29 minutes, but we're going to edit some of this out. Nick Bear has been posting some subliminal messages on his social media, swim, bike, run stuff, saying like, I don't even know. I think Go One More or that brand, BPN Subs, they block me on Instagram. So I get sent this stuff.
I just need to start sending you Nick Bear content.
Ironman's commenting eye emojis. So here's the thing.
Oh boy,
we got to
drop Iron Man.
If this guy gets into a race and announces a race, which I don't think he's going to do, I think he's going to show up to a start line.
Can you announce a race though if you're not a professional athlete? Like who announces a race?
Oh, he can announce a race, dude.
Oh, he can announce a race. I know. He's got
a following.
He can get into the foundation. Ironman.
My wife also watches his channel too, so I get it. Yeah. I'm sure he's a great guy, but yeah,
he'll probably get in. First of all, anyone who builds a supplement, and I don't know if this is true, allegedly, I think the guy's been doping. The last thing he's ever done in competition-wise, I don't think it is. You know why? Because the last competition he did was a non-natty bodybuilding competition. And speaking with people in that world, they say, if you're natty, you would never do a non-natty one just because of the optics and knowing that you're competing with people who aren't natty. So I think that in and of itself is a red flag. But like I said, I can't prove anything. This is all alleged. But if there ever is a time to drug test somebody, because WTCS posted like we're going to be testing age groupers now. This is a time to do it.
I did see that post.
I think they've been saying that forever, though.
Yeah, I don't believe them on that either, Blake. I agree with you. All they're going to do is test a winner, so they'll like maybe the podium of age group overall. Maybe
they don't test winners though.
And we all know how doping works. You have to screw up to test positive on that day, unless you are a moron. And Nick is not a moron. So I mean, and that's not me accusing Nick of absolutely anything. He could be completely clean for sure. But I mean, that's
we're not on the same spectrum.
Anybody, anybody who could be doping is not going to get caught as an age grouper. Period, unless you are an idiot or just like incredible bad luck, because they're not going to age groupers' houses. They're not in a testing pool for sure. So as long as they're not cycling like a bunch of idiots where they're like literally gumming in red hot into a race, they're never going to blow positive.
Yeah. So anyways,
or announcing that they're doping like that one girl did who was cycling, the one who literally is like, oh man, testosterone's working great. You're like, you can't do that, right?
My whole thing is do an Elon Musk. Just if I'm getting accused of doping, I will make content out of it. And for someone who makes content for a living, aka Nick, like, bro, make content out of it. Yeah. Do a randomized drug test.
Absolutely.
And say, show up to my house.
Prove that you're clean. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just hope
he has the means to do that and could shut everybody up for sure, and then just be like, hey, I am clean, which would be great.
To get on his own testing protocol. Yeah.
I want to get proved wrong. I want to get proved wrong. There's people who DM me this stuff all the time, all day, every day. And they're like, dude, I just want to know if like I'm a big pussy because I can't recover as quick as him. I can't do the same workouts as him. So like, I just want to know either like I'm a pussy or that guy's a freak of nature. You know
he is a freak of nature for sure. Either way. I mean, as much I know as he gets a lot of crap, look at his marathon times. I'm like, that guy is built like a middle linebacker and is like running pretty decent marathons.
Only one in the world to do so, right?
Yeah. That's crazy. But you know what he can't do? He can't dress up in a lacrosse outfit and go and run a half marathon. So
at 1:24 pace.
Still got him there. Still got him.
Oh man. All right, guys. We probably went over a little bit, but this isn't the power ranking show, so who gives a care at this point?
That's true. We'll be good. We'll be good next week for
Only true fans watch this crap.
Yeah.
100%. All right, guys. Appreciate the off schedule episode.
Yep.
Thanks.